and welcome to my channel, Dark Ages of the Internet. I will be your host, Miss Dark. This week I will be doing a psychics review, which basically I'm going to tell you what I think about psychics. Now, do I believe in psychics, precognition, and ESP? Well, I think it's very possible. I can't ignore all of the evidence, and I think it's very possible. It's possible. There's also evidence that the CIA has some evidence that some people have really strong ESP. There's also evidence of precognitive dreams. For example, I once watched a documentary, this is an old one, about Abraham Lincoln, and supposedly the night before he was assassinated, he had a dream about the theater and that somebody had killed him, had shot him in the head. So, do I believe in precognitive dreams? Do I believe that you should pay attention to what your dreams and your feelings and your intuition tells you? I do. That said, do I believe the psychics that try to contact me? No. For some reason, psychics are attracted to me to such an extent that I think I should charge them for coming within my vicinity. It's not that I don't believe what they have to say completely. It's just that I don't think it has a place in my life. Now, there have been psychics that have just generally contact people, and they claim that they have a message from somebody from the other side. And this is like the general open-ended question that they start out with. By the way, a lot of people have access to death certificates, obituaries, which are now on the internet as well as in newspapers, and even church prayers. So these people just are not very believable to me. I suppose if somebody is really, really desperate and wants some sort of information about a dead person, you are opening a can of worms. I do not recommend talking to a psychic. That would take any amount of money or any kind of session of that nature. Additionally, like I said, it's not necessarily that I don't believe them. It's more like, for example, the information that they might have is, it's like, hello, I have a message from Aunt Jo, okay? That she kept her cat food behind the pantry. All right, like I would care about that information because I didn't care where she kept her cat food when she was alive. Why would I care about that now that she's dead? Additionally, if you are a psychic that contacts me, you cannot be my psychic. You would know that I am definitely a person that does not want to be contacted. If you are not psychic enough to determine that I do not want to be contacted by you, then I don't want to talk to you. Some psychics have found a way around this by saying, "Oh, well, it's a message from you, from somebody else." Well, once again, I don't care what you have to say about anyone. All right. Additionally, they might also say, well, I have such and such amount of money for you in such and such a place. That's just to get your attention, to get you to talk to them, because if you talk to them, they can charge you. Now, the biggest reason why I don't believe in psychics in general is because I believe each person is their own best psychic. I think you know everything about yourself, your senses. I don't know. I don't know. People haven't found an explanation for psychics. Maybe it is just because our vision, our hearing, or our smells are much more sensitive than people now believe. I mean, people are supposedly more intelligent than general animals, and who's to say that our senses aren't somehow even more sharper than the wild animals? Who's to say that our sense of hearing isn't sharper than a dog's, or our sense of smell isn't sharper? We don't know, and somehow that information gets masked, and it produces some sort of result that tells us something we didn't know before. For example, maybe Abraham Lincoln had visited that theater, for example, previously, and he got like a bad feeling from the actor that killed him, and he somehow was able to process it. Maybe he could hear something was going on there. Who knows? Obviously, he'd been to the theater previously and he'd seen that actor before. So something was telling him that something was going on. And how our brain processes information is also an important thing that to maybe explain ESP. Who knows? So that said, I do believe that you can learn to be your own best psychic. I believe that everybody has this ESP or unexplained knowledge or whatever from the senses, from whatever, maybe some sort of form of sonar that people have, like a bat has sonar, it's also a mammal. Maybe ESP is just our brain waves or whatever coming back in some way giving us some information. Nobody knows yet. We haven't found a mechanism in the brain yet that supposedly does this stuff, although there's a lot of stuff we don't really know what function it serves. So if you want to be your own best psychic, I would say pay attention to your feelings, pay attention to your dreams. I've heard numerous instances where people have been warned. Another incident was the Titanic. It seemed a third of the people canceled their trip on the Titanic when it sank. Like a third just out of the blue said, we don't want to take that trip. Because of bad feelings, bad dreams, so on and so forth. So I do believe paying attention to one's feelings and one's dreams is very important and very relevant. And it's not like those people went to a psychic to tell them, no, you shouldn't go because it's going to crash against a iceberg or whatever. No, these people had it themselves. So I don't think an outside psychic, it might actually put you in the wrong directions if you don't pay attention to yourself. Also, you can train your sensitivities. If you don't find you're sensitive at all, you can train yourself through meditation or through reading books, or even by visiting some sort of a religious person or a therapist of some sort. You can train yourself to pay attention to your sensitivities, or trying to find them somehow. So my big thing is be your own best psychic. Now that said, this is how I believe people are becoming psychic in the 21st century. Number one, they use their computer to log on to a social media site. We're getting there. Number two, explore people's profile pages. Take down their names, their age, look at their family and their friend information. Look for address or phone numbers. And once you find either, you're in luck. Can you guess why? There you go. Now, when you allow a psychic into your life, you can be really victimized. Some of these people can actually report victims, their supposed whatever victims, to for some sort of wrong, and they actually render zero services. It's kind of like a sort of it's like the guy that like the mafiosa that comes up to a restaurant and asks for protection money. I think you open yourself up to that kind of services. Shush. Shush. No. Stop. So they actually do nothing and they will harm you if they don't get what they want. These are basically the worst kind of. Please stop. Shush. Get off. And they're about as logical as animals. Of course. Shush. From all of this, I exclude the real psychics that actually work with law enforcement agencies. Now, number one, these people will not contact you. They will not contact you. Why? Because they are sought after and they are gifted and they are accurate. They won't contact you. They just want to find a way to solve crimes and find missing people. And they are so good at it that and they are very rare. I would say about 99% of supposed psychics are actual psychics. And if you want to talk to a psychic, I would say find your own inner psychic, because you are your own best psychic. History has shown that, and there are numerous examples where people themselves are warned about things. You have to determine what's going on, and you can't give your psychic power or your life and your free will to a psychic, which can abuse that power. So that's my psychic review. Please like, share, and subscribe.